Hi, everybody.
Hi.
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 Welcome to Kim is usually the MC, so bear with me. But welcome to our Petite Knit Knit Along Show and Tell.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good to have so many of you here. Um, the very first thing I want to do though is thank Karen and Felicia and Pick Up Every Stitch for their support and for the discount and for the encouragement and the prizes. So we just want to say a big thank you to Karen and Felicia and to our moderator, amazing moderator, Beth, who also works at Pick Up Every Stitch, who is so active on Ravelry and just such an encouragement to us. She was the first person I ever spoke to at Pick Up Every Stitch, and she helped me pick out yarn, and I just think she's the best. So anyway, thank you, Beth, who is NY Craft on Ravelry, for moderating our Ravelry KAL thread. And speaking of our Ravelry KAL thread, I want to announce the winner, and she's here. Lois Gase was a winner of one of our Ravelry threads.
Yeah.
Lois knit the beautiful Jenny jacket.
I'm going to put Lois on just right now.
Yeah.
So beautiful face. Yeah. Hi, Lois.
Hi, Lois.
Lois, it's beautiful.
So pretty.
Yes.
It's gorgeous.
What did you knit it in, Lois?
I knitted in Sandestan, double Sunday, and I need to look at my notes. Excuse me, I'm recovering from the flu. But I used the double Sunday plus the tin silk mohair, and thank you, Felicia, you helped me pick it out.
Of course she did.
The pattern for two fingering weights, but we went with the double Sunday, so I only needed the one, which I think was great in the end because the silk mohair was the second one. So I really only had to deal with two, not three. Which would have been difficult when I got to the double binding or the double button band. Having the two you have to deal with. One thing I overlooked is the name is Jenny Jacket, which is a jacket, not a sweater. So it's really warm, and I love it. No disappointment at all, but it is warm. So it's good. I really like the double button band. It was all new to me. And thank you, Beth. She saved my life with the Italian bind off. Went through a few sessions with that back and forth. Loved her emails and her notes, which helped me. So I felt like I was way over my head at the beginning because I loved the pattern so much. I dove right in, and then I started reading it, and I thought, oh, what the heck? So I got an extra skein, and I practiced the stocking or smocking stitches. And it turned out to be easier than I thought. And so the pattern really just held my hand. I can't say enough about Petite Knit pattern. This is my first.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She has it nailed on how to do the shoulders, and the smocking lines up right across the shoulder, the front to the back. It was really well done in the instructions and her videos, of course. So,
right.
anyway,
Yeah, we agree. Jonna agrees. Jonna loves all the patterns.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm still working on my Oslo sweater. So, but I am curious about I read a lot of the pattern or the project, and some people loved doing that smocking stitch and other people were like, oh, enough. So how did you feel about that?
Excuse me. I felt fine once I learned it because it's 2x2 ribs, 2 knit, 2 purl, 2 knit, 2 purl. But after the 6th stitch, so knit, purl, knit. So after those 3 sections, you pull the working yarn from the back to the front between the stitches and put it on your needle so it crosses in the front, and then you just knit it together with the first stitch.
Oh, okay.
you look at her video, it's like, that's easy. So the only difficult part was keeping track of rows, because it's every 6th row
Mm.
that you do that cross. And so I just had to keep on it to count my rows.
And they're
Right.
also honeycombed, right? They're not right over each other. They're,
Yeah,
That.
they're staggered.
yeah, so you have to remember that.
Mhm.
But
Wow.
her instructions, boy, when you have to go to a staggered row, that's her instructions, is to knit, 4 stitches instead of 2 and begin
Okay.
the sequence. So you don't have to think about staggering it. It's all there for you.
That's great.
That's wonderful. It's just stunning.
So good.
Thank you. I love it.
And we really are so grateful for
Beautiful.
how much you encouraged everyone also on the Ravelry thread and shared a lot. You were very, very active on there and that. And we really weren't that. I mean, it's hard to be that active on it. So we're so grateful for those of
Thank
you who were. Thank
Yeah.
you.
It was a great group of gals. I wish we could see some of them. There was a lady from the Netherlands who was super helpful, and a lot of people that were just cheering each other on, which was great. It was a good KAL.
Yeah, it was really
Great
fun.
to hear. Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely on my to-do list since it came out.
If anyone has questions, let me know.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm sure they'll take you up on it.
For sure.
So
The other winner from our Ravelry thread is Sue Cutt, who
is Sue on here today?
I see Susan, but I don't know if it's the right.
That's Sue.
Yeah. Sue in SoCal. She says she's driving, so
Oh,
she
right.
won't have video, but I don't know if that's Sue Cutt or not. So yeah, Sue Cutt. And then the hashtag from Instagram, the winner was Joanne Wiggins.
I don't think there's a Joanne on today, but
Yeah. So, and we're going to choose a 4th winner from among the participants today.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
fun.
minus 4 of us. So you have
Right.
5 of us. Yeah.
By the way, for those of you, Lois, we did not mail the gifts, the prizes yet. I have them actually right on my bed right there, and all of them, including the person who's going to win today. I'll bring them as long as I can get out of the house tomorrow. I'm sure I'll be able to. I'll bring them to the mail. I'll mail them tomorrow. So
Thank you.
so fun.
Yeah. Let's see. So Lois went. Who wants to go next and tell us about who wants to show and tell? Oh, we have Deb Weiss.
Deb
Wanna
one.
unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yep. Figure out how to do that. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Deb.
Hi.
Hi. I made the Monday sweater
Ooh.
and I used Moondrake Pika Pika in the colorway Slate, held together with Biche Bouche Le Petite Silk and Mohair.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I'm wearing. And it's really warm and fuzzy and cozy, and I love it. And it's perfect for Minnesota.
And what were the 2 colors? It almost looks marled in a way.
It is sort of, one is slate and one is a dark green gray.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't quite sure, but initially I was a little nervous that maybe it looked a little camo, but everyone assures me that it does not. So
No,
It's so pretty.
yeah, it is really beautiful.
yeah. And thank you, Felicia, for all your help picking out the yarn.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So is that a top down?
It is a top down. It's a folded over, neckband and raglan sleeves. And it's really a very nice, I think there were short rows in the back, but otherwise, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward stockinette the whole way. So it was just nice and fun and not too long a knit, actually. I think it maybe took me not quite a month.
Okay. Did you do you don't pick up stitches for the collar, you do the ribbing right in the beginning?
I don't remember.
Yes, you do.
That's why I write notes
I
when
made
we
that
fill.
also. Yeah, you start with the collar and work
Uh-huh.
your way down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you fuse
Yeah.
it. And then you continue.
And then yes,
Yeah.
you fold it over, you knit them together, and then you keep going.
Okay. Well, it's just beautiful. And it fits you perfectly too.
It
Yeah.
does. I mean, there wasn't much to fit, but it was good. So I think I made the medium size.
Nice. So in the chat, Tosh says it looks lovely and a really nice fit. And Marina says it looks so cozy. It's on her list. And Tosh says, Deb, do you like the Biche Bouche silk mohair?
I haven't used a lot of mohair before, so I don't have a lot to compare it with, but it was fine. I mean, it didn't split, I wasn't dropping it or anything. So I think it worked well.
Great. Okay, and by the way, Sue said she's not Sue Cut, she's Sue O, and she stopped for a moment so she wouldn't have to text and drive.
Good idea.
And by the
Good
way, Tosh said previously about Lois's, it's beautiful, love that stitch, and the yarn shows it off really well. So yay, thank you so much for sharing, Deb.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Who's next? Pat?
Okay, let me find Pat here.
I'll be glad to go next.
Okay.
This was not my project, but I am wearing the Anchor sweater
But it is beautiful.
last summer, and it is a beautiful knit. If any of you get a chance to make one, she has it for winter weight, summer weight, children's size. It's a beautiful pattern. You'd really enjoy it. And I have not finished my sweater for the KAL. I'm making the Storm Sweater Junior for my grandson. I made the largest size, which I believe was 12-14, because he's 10, but he's a big boy. And about mid-December, I tried it on. I had the whole body done, and he's going to wear it next year. It is a little too big, but next year, I'm sure it'll fit him good. I wanted it to be large, but it was a little bit too long, and that's without blocking. So I put it aside and worked on my Advent socks and some hats I was finishing. So I picked it up again, and I'm on the sleeves. But this is it. It's a beautiful pattern. I find I had to pay attention to it. It's just mixing pearls, but it ends up coming out so nice and textured. And it's got, the first time I've done a fold over collar. You pick up the stitches, knit it, fold it over, and tack it down. And it really, it gives a nice finish to it, really does. And I used Knit Picks. It was yarn that I had in stash. It's 70% merino and 30% silk, which gives it a really nice sheen. I don't think the camera really shows it. It's not shiny, but there's definitely a little bit of a sheen to it. And what Joseph keeps saying is, oh, it's so soft, Nana. It's so soft, because it is. So this will be his gift next Christmas, since I've made it a little bit too large, but that's good. He'll grow into it. And so hopefully I'm going to get it finished in the next few weeks. The sleeves are all texture work too. So it just takes me a while because I have to pay attention to what I'm doing and follow the pattern, but it's a lovely pattern.
It's gorgeous. Is it charted?
Yeah, yes, it is charted. So that's what I'm following. And it's interesting, when I first started it, I had to restart it because I missed where it said repeat lines 7, 8, and 9 6 times. Because I was going on, I'm thinking, gosh, it doesn't look like it's right. And I looked back and I said, oh. So I had to pull out a couple of inches because I didn't pay attention. So several of the charts in there, it is repeat these 2 rows 8 times, repeat these 3 rows 6 times. So it makes it a chart that'll fit on a sheet of paper instead of doing it the whole way.
Yeah.
But it out very well.
Yeah, it would be nice if those rows were maybe shaded,
Oh, I know, exactly. If they would highlight it, but I ended up putting big asterisks on my paper so I would remember, because it's the same for the sleeves. Repeat this row 6 times, repeat this one. So you get the sequence in for the length of it, but it really works up nice. And he's happy with it, so that's good. Hopefully he'll like it next December too.
I love that color. It's really nice and rich, that green.
It's it's called Jade, the color, and it's a real deep green. Very nice.
Love it.
Good for Christmas.
Yes, definitely.
All right.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you for having us.
See you again, Rumi.
Yes. I missed
Oh,
you.
I never looked at my bill, at my thing to see if.
Oh, do check it and let me know.
I
Okay.
will. Sorry.
Okay.
So I said that because if you don't know, Pat and I both went to Vogue Knit Live, and she invited me. The person who was supposed to be in her hotel room couldn't go, so I got to be in her room. And I got there first, so I gave them my credit card, and I didn't even think. I was just gonna pay her, just have her tell me how much I owe, but they just charged us half each, which was easier, right?
Oh, wow.
But we just wanted to make sure that the correct meals were on the correct bill, and I still haven't done it. Sorry, I'm so irresponsible.
She's not.
Anyway, who wants to go next?
Tash, are you wearing your Anker's tee also?
All right, we're going to elect Tosh.
Are we electing Tash to go?
Hi.
Hello. Yeah, I am wearing my my Anchor summer shirt. I always get confused as to what name to call it. It's the Anchor tee or the Anchor shirt. I think this one's called the Anchor summer shirt, and I knit it in a cotton and acrylic blend by Katia. I think it's called Katia Spiga. And I added some short rows in the back. I think people sort of said they found the front sometimes depending, although Pat, I can see yours is a little bit lower down. So I don't know if you added short rows or you did too, or
No, I didn't add short rows, and mine is in Sandnes Garn. They're linen. That's what I
so
use.
maybe just my gauge is a bit tighter, so maybe that's why mine's up a little bit
Yes.
higher, I
it
think. So
fits very well. It is. Mine is more of a boat neck collar than yours, but
I think that's and I think that's probably because my gauge is a little bit tighter. So I'm really glad I added the short rows in the back. Yeah, and I love it. I think it's really nice, and it's still quite warm though. Like I still find DK weight cotton quite warm in summer, so I probably wouldn't like when it gets warmer here today. I'll have to change to something cooler. But yeah, I really like it. I wasn't sure about the pale blue, but I actually like it because I don't wear a lot of blue. But yeah, I like it. And I had a few other knits for I did 2 Oslo hats. So I did a regular Oslo hat, which in this color I really love. This is Madeline Tosh DK Twist in neon red. And then I did one with mohair. This is Isia Highland wool, and I made a field sweater out of this, and this is the yarn that I had left over. So it's the Highland wool and the Isia silk mohair. So I really that's kind of my new hat. Although actually the Manhattan hat, I'm kind of on, I sort of flip-flop around. If I feel like ribbing, I'll do a Manhattan hat. If I feel like stockinette, I'll do the Oslo hat. And I did two Sophie scarves. So I did one in red and one in this was leftover from another sweater. I really like this pattern for leftovers because it uses about 60 grams and I've usually got a bit left over. This one, I can't remember the yarn that it was, but this one was Madeline Tosh Pashmina, and that's really nice and soft. So yeah, I love her patterns. I probably only have a little, I find it a bit of a shame that sometimes it's like the Anchor tee, but there's like 6 different patterns, and I sort of think, oh, it'd be nice if they could, like even the Oslo hat and the Oslo hat with mohair, it's really the same pattern. Probably don't need to buy both. If you've got one, you don't need the other. But other than that, I mean, I could probably knit every single pattern that she's putting out, and I'm sure, like maybe one day I will. So yeah, thanks.
I'm wondering on that pattern, if you didn't want the neckline so high, could you start with cast on the number of stitches after the first set of increases?
That's a good idea. It would definitely move it down like a little bit. Yeah, because you do increases after each section. Right. So instead, if you kind of dropped off that first section and just started with this one, then yeah, that would be a good idea. If you didn't want to add short rows and you wanted a lower neckline, and probably for a summer top, that might be nicer anyway. Like if I'm wearing something summery, I don't really. Whereas if I'm cold, I want like all of this up here, but if I'm hot, I actually would like a lower neckline. That's a really good idea, Jonna. I think I might, for my next one, I might start and have started it like at this cast on number.
Right.
Yeah. I
And
like
then-
how you were thinking with that pattern. Was it with whose pattern was it? Was it with Pat's pattern about how like instructional design, like, oh, it'd be really helpful if they
Highlighted or
if
shaded.
they made a little bit just had a little bit more information or a little bit more in the pattern to make it easier so you don't make those mistakes. So yeah, I just like the way you think like that. Sort of
It's
very
that,
as a teacher.
it's that mathematician editor. Understand things in print, right?
I guess so. I mean, I've written a lot of textbooks, and so I guess I'm always trying to think of ways to communicate, ideas without necessarily with words, just trying to make it visually just more accessible, I guess. Trying to.
Yeah. Less likely to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
Cardamom,
guys are shoveling the snow, so I keep getting distracted thinking it's Teddy, but he's not here.
that's okay. So Cardamom says that she thinks that was a good idea, Jonna, and she also prefers the look of odd features over even features, and she clarified, so 3 sections instead of 4. So even in gardening, they say odd is more pleasing, and odd is a more pleasing number than an even number. That's interesting. I never thought of it that way as far as the sections in that sweater.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
because there are 4, so you just drop the top one and
right.
start here. Yeah.
Right. And you could add another section just kind of following the same kind of algorithm that she uses. You could add a 4th if you wanted to.
Speaking of how there's so many different patterns for the different variations of the same idea, really, more and more designers I've noticed are making their patterns have options, right? The Manhattan hat has options. And doesn't Rebecca Clow have different options in some of her patterns? The same pattern, and you can, make different ways.
I think if you bought the DK version of the Tulsa tee, then you got the fingering weight for free. And
Yeah, or even a discount, like 50% off or something that sort of is like, well, it's not a completely new pattern to you, but it's just an extension. So yeah, I think that would be nice if they did that. It's funny though, in adding short rows here, I've been asked a few times to do a tutorial on how I added the short rows, but I'm finding it difficult to be able to do a video on that without breaching copyright. Like how do I explain how I add the short rows to this particular pattern without giving away all the numbers in the pattern? So, because I'm glad that I was able to, and I like to be able to help people with variations. So I was thinking maybe I might do a video where I just make up some numbers. So like a sweater that would fit like a stuffed toy or something. So it's not a real person. So anyway, I've just been.
So the increases occur in the rows, the rounds between the ribbing sections.
Yes.
And so are your short rows in the ribbing section or in that?
I do them so at the front, there's 2 rows, and in the pattern as written, there's only 2 rows all the way around, whereas at the back, in each section, I've got 4. So to incorporate a short row in each section, but to explain where to do them, I probably have to reference the pattern a little bit, but I don't want to give away the secret sauce, so I'm not sure.
Maybe you have to put a call out for anyone that's purchased the pattern that's interested in doing that and making those modifications, and somehow have them show, proof of purchase or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, or I could I don't have to use the exact numbers of the pattern, or I could say for this kind of concept, this is where you want to do them. So
you can just mark the center front, and then you can tell people to go like a third of the stitches, side to the front, and then like another third, and kind of use
percentages.
Instead of the actual numbers, because every side is going to be different with the number anyway.
That's true. And everyone's gauge, right? Like the number of stitches between your short rows will be different if your gauge is, 20 or 24, or you would do slightly different spacing.
Right. I think there are 16 patterns for anchors. There's dolls, there's children's, 17 different patterns for that.
Oh my God.
Pat says in the chat that bundling patterns bundling the patterns as an option, like buy one. Are you saying that it is an option, or you think it should be an option?
No, that's what I would recommend.
Oh,
A pattern, the anchor that has 17 versions. I didn't realize there was that many, but have it as a set price to buy one.
Yeah.
Or if you would buy several sizes, make it a different price so you could purchase a set.
Right.
Yeah, I think she just in my Ravelry, I got an update. One of the patterns that I already own, she's included 0 to 12 years and updated the pattern. So maybe she'll do that at some point. Yeah.
By the way, I live in an old house too, so when people use the water upstairs, it makes this ticking noise. Sorry.
Oh, we don't hear it. I don't hear it.
Didn't hear it at all. Oh, it's so loud. Yeah. When
Yeah.
I don't even hear it because I sleep down here, but when the grandkids are down here, they get scared. I'm like, what is that? Oh, they hear
I wondered what it was when I was at your house. And your room's like below the kitchen, right? So
yeah, water.
everyone's in the kitchen. So yeah.
That's funny. All right. Well, thank you, Tosh. By the way, Tosh has a podcast. If you don't know, tell us about your podcast.
Oh, I love your podcast, Tosh. You helped me so much with the Musselboro hat. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Pat. Yeah, I have a podcast, mostly knitting.
That's how I found you, was because I put in Musselboro hat in the YouTube search bar, and that's how I found you. So how many have you made? 17.
17, yeah.
Wow.
But I found with things like that, I do about 3 or 4 before I get the numbers right, like for the way I like. So I think, oh, if I can show somebody else that and go, maybe you don't have to make 3 or 4 before you get, like, if you like this fit, this is how long I make it. So so I have a podcast where I do like a weekly what I've been knitting and then do some tutorials and stuff. I've only been doing that sort of regularly for the last year, but I love it. It's been really, I always sort of thought it was much, my editing is pretty low tech, but you just got to do what you can do to fit it in, right? And that's what I love about yours. Like, your editing is much better, but like you podcast when you have time, when it works, and and then it's just very authentic. Like, it fits into your life, and you share whatever you have to share at that time, and so. And I love watching you guys. You're my favorites. So thanks for mentioning that.
What is the name of the podcast?
Mostly knitting.
Yeah, mostly knitting. Maybe you can write that in the chat so people can.
Sure. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Jonna.
So much. Yeah.
Anyone else want to go?
Beth, you want to go? I know Beth is really shy.
Cindy's waving her hand too.
Oh,
you want to let Cindy do it first?
Sure. Go ahead, Cindy.
Okay, Cindy first. Cindy, don't forget to unmute yourself.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Ooh, isn't that pretty?
I'm from Nebraska. Okay, so this is the Friday V-neck, and this is vacation yarn that I bought when we were in Denmark. Gepard wool, held with some mohair. And when my dog attacked this, Jonna, when I first started this, I had to, after a lot of tears, I came back to it. But when I made this, I wore it right away without blocking it. Then I blocked it. One of my daughters might inherit this. So it grew. It really grew with this ribbing, really kind of got boxy and shortened it a little bit. And I like it. I like it a lot. I like her instructions are fabulous. And the picking up, if you follow, it's exactly how she says it. And it's just perfect every single time. But it did.
Oh, wow.
It grew. And it was so cute before I blocked it. It was dark. But like I said, we have 5 girls, and I'm sure one of them would love to own this. So that's where it's going to go. But no, I love it. So, and anyway, so thank you for having us do this.
I really love how striking it is with the main color and then the lighter ribbing. It's really just beautiful. It's an eye catcher.
Yeah, the
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
What was the yarn content?
The wool that I held with the mohair is just a 100% merino.
Okay.
And it's this gift, or it's probably backwards, but I got it in a really cute yarn store in Copenhagen. It starts with a U. I can't pronounce it, but it was a darling shop. And through not speaking the same language, she helped me pick it out. And it was just really fun and a good memory trip yarn to have. And so, and I've made this sweater. The reason I made this, because she uses this rib a lot in a lot of her patterns. And I think I made like a little boy's slip sweater, which took me forever to make. This fabric is intense. It's like every row you're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I love it. I wish it fit better, but anyway.
It looks good though.
I think it looks really cute like that.
Yeah, I think it's
We
great.
all wear things differently.
Yeah.
But when in your mind, when you're making something, and then, and I actually, my body, I do not have shoulders at all. I have boobs and no shoulders. And so that's kind of big here. So I had, when I was making it, I was imagining it to have this different aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And, but you're kind to say it looks okay, but I had something else in my mind for it, but.
And
anyway.
you tried to block
it looks great.
it, and so then you had it in your head. Karen and Felicia, I have a question about holding mohair.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Cindy. I'm going to unpin you. Okay. Thank you so much.
That because mohair has no stretch to it,
Mm-hmm.
does it help with the, like she was saying that she thinks the stretch came from the actual rib stitch. Is it like a broken rib or?
Yeah, it's a broken rib on
Like
that.
if you made the Friday slip over the crew neck. Yeah. Doesn't mohair kind of help with, stretching? Like, cause it has no stretch.
I mean, Karen could probably answer better than I can because she's better at the technical part of everything. I don't think it's going to prevent anything because that's coming from the stitch itself. What the mohair does do is help with anything stretching out or lengthening on its own or anything like that, like a superwash would do. Like if you add a mohair to a superwash, it's not going to grow as much as it would on its own. I think that's what the benefit of mohair is, aside from the fact it just makes everything look so much softer and richer looking.
No, Johnny, you're right. Because it's silk and because it doesn't have the elasticity that the yarn does, it will help keep the garment in the shape that you want it to be.
Mhm.
It also can, I when I made field sweater, I did the mohair in the pattern work, and then at the bottom parts where it sections out, I got into trouble because the yarn that she recommends it's got great stretch to it and the mohair doesn't. So I put it on. I'm like, okay, now I can't move because the mohair was too tight. So it can really help to keep the stitches in place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone just asked, anybody who shares a pattern that they did, anybody who shares, can you write it in the, oh, there you go. Cindy just did. Write your pattern in the chat so everybody can see what it is. Cool. So Beth, you want to go next?
Sure. I did a bunch of things for the knit along, all of which are gone now. The hipster hat, which nobody's mentioned and which I love. It's a pretty decrease. It's a nice DK or worsted weight. I did the holiday slipover, which is a bulky weight vest that I did for one of my daughters. Also highly recommend. But this is one that I just finished.
That's gorgeous.
PetiteKnit. The Moby, which is, I highly recommend this. I wanted a highly cabled sweater, but I didn't really want to sit there with 7 million charts and actually do a lot of cables. And the only cable in this is really this cable, which is just like every 8 rows. This is knit and purls. This is traveling stitches. So it looks highly cabled, but it's not. And it was, but it has that look that's sort of in style now. It has that classic fisherman knit. And I did it in Farmer's Daughter fibers, which we have at Pick Up Every Stitch, which is gorgeous, this caramel color. It's not actually a great color on me, but Felicia taught me if I just wear a white shirt under anything, I can make anything. Though today I'm wearing denim. But I have to say,
That works too, Beth. Looks good.
Beautiful.
thank you. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Felicia approved, right? I don't usually do the folded neckline that she suggests because I have a short neck. It's not cute on me. I did it in the day in the 80s when we used to do more of that. But I wanted to do it with this one because it is such a classic fisherman-y kind of vibe, you know?
Mm.
And this neckline, you guys, she did, and I don't know if it's all, it doesn't sound like she does it in all of them. She has you do double knitting across here like you would for a tubular cast top. So it comes in and it's like a little bit, you know, smaller. So it folds over perfectly on that line. And then she has you do every other, you pick up and bind off. You bind off one and then you pick up and bind off. It's a delightful technique. So it's not, you know, sometimes when you tack things down, it's a little tight.
Mm-hmm.
It's not tight. The finish on this is exquisite. So this, and it wasn't, I mean, it was slow because there is moss stitch and you know, you do have to do things every row, but it is you know, you can memorize it fairly easily. And there is, like the other patterns, there's a baby, there's a vest, there's a little kid, a big kid, and I'm going to make it for my husband because it's so classic looking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I wish I'd known that about the neckline. I would have done that on the Oslo sweater.
Totally. You need to buy this. The price of admission is worth it just for that neckline on this pattern.
Right.
Because it really gives it a lovely finish.
Yeah.
Right. And on the Oslo sweater, you do a row of pearls.
That's not as cute. It's definitely this was, I would do this on every, and I might do fold over necklines again. As I said, I don't tend to do them because I have no neck, but it is cute. It really
doesn't
is.
bulky at all. It's really, really beautiful.
No, not at all.
Yeah, beautiful. And I highly recommend this just because it is sort of, you know, an epic looking knit, but you're really not hurting yourself at all. You know, you're doing one cable over here and one over here, and it's just every 8 rows, you're just cabling. The rest of this is very straightforward. Here I messed up a bit. It's like, but you can't tell. I mean, it's knits and pearls, and I just kind of fudged it a little bit. And so if you want that look that's sort of big right now with the lots of cables, but you don't want to sit there with 12 charts. And I looked at I looked at all these hot cable patterns. Now, this is the biggest bang for your buck, I think, in terms of effort, while still giving you that very cabled look. I would do it again.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I think she does that technique at the neckline to make it a little puffy, where she does that double knit stitch.
But also smaller.
Yeah, it does. It just adds such nice fullness to that fold over. Gives that really nice rounded look. I think she does it on the melange sweater, I want to say, or the no frills. I can't remember.
Not the no frill. Well, you know
No
what? I
frills?
didn't do it on the no. I think the no frills was top down, and
Yeah, no frills.
I didn't do it on the no
They
frills.
did that one.
Yeah, no.
Maybe it was the melange. I can't remember right now which one.
Also, then it naturally folds right in that spot.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so you're not like, where should it go? I mean, it's just very beautiful.
Yeah.
I would totally make it again. I'm recommending very much.
Make one for your husband.
Yes.
I'm going to make it in Mayak, I think.
Ooh.
I've decided that every year my husband is now getting a sweater, and he's only gotten 2, and we've been
Don't tell my husband he's never gotten a sweater.
Well, we've been married 37 years, and he's got nothing. So I was like, why does he have nothing? So last
He's
year,
a big boy. It's a lot of knitting.
he is a big boy. Now, mind you, he hasn't asked for this every year for his birthday, but I've declared that every year now he's getting one. So now he's got 2, but I think this might be next year's.
So just so everybody knows, to put a face to a name or a handle on Ravelry, this is Beth. This is New York Craft, who helped us. NY Craft helped all of us, moderated the Ravelry threads. So we just want to thank you so much, Beth. Really, it's just, yeah, you just made it so special. And everybody, you know, you were there to answer questions, to encourage when people got discouraged. And you know what I realized when you started talking today? is when I read your comments on Ravelry, I hear your voice in my head. Very encouraging. I don't know. So now everybody can now read the comments and know how you sound. You're just always, when I go into the shop, you're always really encouraging. And yeah. And by the way, I think you were the very first person who really encouraged us to do the podcast. We went to Woolen Folk 3 years. Was it 3 years ago now? Yeah, it was the first one. And we mentioned that we were thinking of doing it. And you were like, oh, you definitely should. I'll watch.
Yeah, I mean, we could tell you should do it. We knew, but it was my pleasure to do Ravelry. I am on there at least twice a day, and I write very fast. And it's just like I just get in there and do that. I'm more comfortable with that and words. And as you know, I was a middle school teacher, so I'm used to quickly commenting and correcting, and it was what I did. So it was my pleasure to do it because I know it's harder for you guys naturally to get on there, and I do not like to be on camera, so I'm happy to do Ravelry.
It takes a village, huh?
Mm-hmm. It takes a yarn shop.
Yeah.
That's our village.
It is the village.
It is. Well, thank you so much, Beth.
I'll go.
Who is that, Peggy?
Hi, Peggy.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. So
Good.
I did the Cumulus blouse, which I'm wearing right now, in this beautiful navy mohair, the Isair, if that's how you say it. And then I fell down a PetiteKnit's rabbit hole. So I did the champagne cardigan, which is hard. But I have to tell you, this placket front is a game changer. It is amazing. It is so beautiful. It adds such structure to the sweater. It's not sloppy. It's just, it's got volume to it, and it's just lovely. And then last week, Karen sent me, of course I paid for it, but Karen sent me yarn to make the cloud sweater, which is going so quickly. And
how's that going? Let's see.
Oh, very nice.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
But I also made the hipster hat out of leftover yarn from the champagne cardigan. And that hipster hat, there's a lot of knitting because it's a double folded brim. But how she has you do the breaks so that the brim stays folded is just brilliant. I love that hat. It's a great hat. So now I'm looking for my next PetiteKnit option.
Yeah,
So
I just wonder how she has time to do all of the designing with when my kids between certain ages, I just didn't knit for years and years, maybe a decade or 15 years. I just didn't have time to knit. And it's amazing that she can really, design so much and churn out these patterns, and they're all wonderful with a family. And I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway,
Beth is asking what yarn you're using for the cloud.
I am using, is it Snuff Gug? What is it?
Can I send you the Snuff Nug?
Yes, Snuff Nug. Without mohair, per Karen's recommendation, just the Snuff Nug.
Mm-hmm. And the gauge is good, right? You didn't need it.
I don't need it. No. This is fluffy enough.
Good.
And Tosh says she loves your projects. And thanks for sharing the info on the champagne cardigan. Yeah, Jonna and I are not going to share our projects today because we shared them on the podcast. But I love my champagne cardigan. It's very pilly. I've had to depill it a few times, but it's because I literally wear it every day. So taking the kids to the bus stop, and I just love this button band. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
I have to say the Snuff Nug really is holding up great. Like I wear this all the time. And Teddy, jumps on me, and it just looks great. So great for color work too. It makes you look like a color work genius.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you, Peggy.
Thank you.
Who else?
Just Carmen, but she's giving me oh no, we have Liz. Liz is on now.
Hi. I'll quickly share. It's the Anchor's hat. It's a one skein project. And for the first time, I had a little bling, which was a little sequence. Rossetti had a sequin yarn that went along with it. And I used the Sandus yarn Alpaca O, and it's just a quick knit. I would say it's more a woman's size than a man's size, but it's warm. And I did not block it. I just wore it. And I think that's best because it has quite a bit of alpaca. So it was fun. And I enjoy your podcast. Thank you.
Yay, thank you. Thank you for watching and sharing.
Is that everybody who wanted to share?
Well, I can share if you're all ready for a good laugh.
Okay.
Because this is the Isle of Misfit Knit. Okay, Jonna, I have thought of you so many times. You know how you always say that sometimes a yarn and a pound don't make a baby. Oh, goodness. I so wish that I could go to pick up every stitch. And I will. I hope to be able to go this summer. But anyway, number one, I started with the April cardigan. This is my April cardigan mashup because, as you can see, I did the double knit button band. But to go back to the beginning, I started with my size, which is a 5. I'm usually a 4 on the back and a 6 on the front, and I was not getting row gauge. So then I ripped all the way back, started again, went up to 7, had to add rows. It finally fits around here. I don't know. I'm not happy with it. Anyway, that's one unfinished knit. I have one cuff finished. I think it's too short, so the other one's still not finished. Then I have my cumulus, and it gapes. The neckline gapes, and I really don't like it. So I don't know if I'm just gonna pull it out again. I may do a ribbed neckline instead of the
I-cord?
What's this called?
I-cord.
I-cord, exactly. Yeah, no, that's a no. And of course, you know, I'm always having to use the Spanish farm yarns, and buying well, I didn't buy mohair. I bought the Katia Atenea, the one that has cashmere in it and merino, and yeah, it's very difficult to put these things together when you're buying things online and you don't know the colors, you don't know the thicknesses. This is not a lace weight. If anybody buys the Atenea, it's like a light finger.
You know how, oh, sorry, you're kind of cutting in
No,
and
go
out.
ahead, yeah.
You know how the I-cord forms a tube?
Yes.
I wonder if you could take some of the yarn on a darning needle, and I was thinking elastic, but that's not quite right, but maybe just to give it a little bit of like rebar.
Well, I think part of my problem is because I have a small back, it when it comes around, it just
So there's just a lot of opening in the front.
it's too big. It is too big, and I know that. So that's why I think I'll just take it out and close it up with a rib. I'm sorry that I'm cutting it in and out. And then the last one, this one's not bad.
By the way, just Pat suggested, Pat Valanzano suggested, she said your color's beautiful, and try crocheting 1 row of single crochet around your neckline. That would help.
Yeah, I know.
There's something else to do, right?
We'll
see.
And,
Tosh, did you want to say something? Say something.
I made the cumulus blouse. Carmen and I had this before I did the neckline. It was massive. So I picked up less stitches, significantly less stitches. So whether you feel you could be bothered to pull it out, and because that's a bit of work, I think I like Jonna's suggestion as a first step because that's less work. You can just sort of see threading a yarn through will tighten it up because obviously the yarn doesn't have that much stretch. The I-cord has more stretch.
No,
so
it doesn't at all. And actually it lines up perfectly with the stitches of the fabric. So it's not that the I-cord is larger than the fabric. I don't know if you can see it, but it's perfect.
Yeah.
Engaged.
So either picking up less stitches, or the other thing is there was someone, I think it was Casuarina girl, Karen, when she did it, she picked up the exact number of stitches, but then she did like a every third one she knit like knit 3 together instead of knit 2 together. So you
Okay.
can keep, like you were saying, you like how you know it's the right number of stitches, but
Right.
every third or fourth one you knit 3 together instead of knit 2 together. It might just bring it up in enough without having to redo the whole, like you do need to
Right.
undo it, but you could keep the pickup.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just a thought.
Yeah. I just don't know if I like it enough to put the effort in.
But you might like it more, and think of it. There is so
You might
much
love
in
it
that.
after it's
There's so
fixed.
much.
You might love it.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and then the other thing is this again, it's using instead of 2 strands of mohair, the pattern is written for just 2 strands of mohair and the weight of 2 strands of mohair, and I'm using fingering and the Atenea, which is fingering. So yeah, the weight is completely different pulling on this neckline is what I honestly believe. It's just gaping because of the weight of the fabric. So yeah, I'm gonna have to still work on that one. And the last one, it was done.
Thank
And
you,
I'm
Tom.
only showing this because this is the zipper, whatever, for my husband. I put in the facing of a contrasting yarn, but the only zipper I could find here, I live in a very rural area, is plastic. So I've ordered the zippers from PetiteKnit, and they've come in. So now I have to take apart the whole collar again and redo it. So there, the misfit knit.
Oh, and
I
if I
promise I
remember
do
right-
know how to knit.
Wait, Carmen, if I remember right, wasn't it you who was like not that thrilled about doing panini, right? Wasn't there something about
I don't like PetiteKnit. I'm only doing
I
this for
remember
you
that
too.
in the beginning. You're so loyal and faithful, though. I mean, if you guys don't know, Cottoman Karen was our first international. When I saw we had a follower from Spain, I was like, "What?"
The first episode, you're like, "What? How did you
know,
find
it's
out about us?" Yeah.
So funny, but yeah, thank you for trying it.
Try.
Not every designer designs for our style or our body type or what we like or our aesthetic. So
I really love the shoulder on the April cardigan, though. It's very nice.
yeah.
But
By the way, Karen said you can also pick up the stitches on the neckline, so you can use your picked up stitches. Take the cumulus back to the picked up stitches, but then work the I-cord in 1 or 2 needle sizes smaller.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking that I might do first, is to go down a needle size.
Yeah.
And then we'll see. I mean, it wasn't difficult to do at all. It didn't take that long. It was, something else that has to be done. So
Is the rest of it done?
Yeah, well, because I don't have the neckline finished and it's gaping, my sleeves are falling down my shoulders, so I haven't finished the cuffs because I can't determine the correct length.
Right.
And I always have to add length anyway because I'm 5'11" or whatever I am now. So yeah, I always have to modify patterns. So.
Yeah, but yeah, we all have patterns that don't work out. So thank you for sharing. And that's one of the big comments we get on our videos too, is that people thank us for sharing all our fails and all of our issues, all of our missteps.
Yes.
I mean,
I have failed. Yes.
Definitely had our
We all have at one point or another. We all have.
We had our 15,000 subscriber party with the 15. Well, there was only 7 of us, the people who won that little thing. And one woman said, wait, now I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say, Jonna? You can read my mind.
Oh, the one from Portugal. The winner from Portugal?
I don't remember.
That was her name, I think.
Yeah.
It's about sharing mistakes and things that haven't worked out.
Yeah, just sharing mistakes. And oh, I know. One thing she asked us, because we gave them a chance to ask us anything, basically. And somebody asked, what our vision for, or our goal?
Yeah, caught me totally off guard. I was like expecting what's your favorite color or something, nothing too deep. And it was, what's your vision for the podcast? But she did say something about us. She liked our podcast because we were very authentic.
Yeah. And I guess I didn't really know what to say at first either, but that really was one of my things. I have so many friends who have wanted to learn to knit and they give up when they make the first mistake. And I just try to tell people, like, I've been knitting over 30 years, and well, you guys all know I still make mistakes on every single project all the time. Well, thank you so much for joining us from Spain and always supporting us. We're so grateful.
You're welcome.
So I have my random number generator going here, and I think we have 11.
We have 16 altogether.
Yeah, I think I'm taking out Karen, Felicia, Beth, you, and myself. So 1 to 11. I'm gonna press the button. 10.
Okay. Are you going to count who's number 10?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is Marina Indrakan. I'm not saying that correctly.
Marina, yay.
Yeah. So Marina, if you want to put your, she's like, oh my God. So Marina, if you would like to send us an email, and I'll put it in the chat really quickly. So send us an email with your address, KTOGW.
She's over the moon, she says.
Oh.
We will send you a prize. So congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, Marina. Thank you so much for
whenever you use one of the random number generators, I'm always like, are you sure? 10 doesn't seem random. No.
I know, right?
Yeah. So
but whenever we just choose, like the way Paula does it is she just takes each screen and she says, which screen, 1, 2, and then she always, like, Jonna whispers to me, pick, number 1 or the highest or the lowest number, because nobody ever picks those.
I know, right? So
Marina says it's her first time ever to win anything.
Oh.
Yay.
Marina.
So fun.
Well, thank you so much to everybody for participating. Really, we're always amazed that that anyone wants to participate, honestly. So we're really grateful.
I think especially because we're not big knit along people. We really aren't. I don't really do knit alongs myself, participate in them, and Jonna doesn't either. So we're so grateful that you participate and contribute so much, and posting and hashtagging and joining the Ravelry group was really big and really lively. It was really fun.
And we love looking at the hashtag.
Oh, somebody wants to know what Marina made. Oh, that's a good idea. Those who aren't on screen, if you could type in the chat what you made, that would be great. Someone, Jonna asked what you made, Marina. Is that it?
Yep. Thank you, Karen and Felicia and Beth.
Thank you. Thank you. This was fun.
Thank you. You got me out of shoveling snow.
And thank you to everybody for participating in the Zoom.
Oh, Marina just posted what she made. If you could read that for us.
I am working on the terrazzo slip over now.
Ooh, nice.
Great. And Carmen said,
are so popular now.
Yeah. And Carmen said, KALs are so important for those of us who do not know any knitters. And that's very true. Carmen lives, and many, many people live where there is no knit shop nearby that they can go sit and knit with people, or they don't know anybody who knits. We find that with our Cable 3 Zooms, that it's just become this group, and a lot of people in the group don't know any other knitters. And so that's our knitting group. It's really fun.
And it was so great to see all the different patterns.
Oh, yeah.
And now, my queue is ever growing.
Mm-hmm.
No, never finish in our lifetimes.
Oh, it was Deb's first KAL. It won't be her last. And Beth asked where Carmen is. Carmen lives in the middle of Spain. Like, the nearest large city is Madrid, but she's not really that near Madrid. So, but she did just go to the Madrid, what was it? The Fiber Festival, the big Madrid.
Yeah, Love Yarn Madrid.
Yeah, I Love Yarn Madrid. I saw you.
How was that, Carmen?
Well, I met Paola. She says hello to you. And she knew me from the KALs that you have done. And then I met Sari and Amy Gio. And I was speaking with them for quite a while because not many people know English. So, yeah.
That is one. Sorry just had a book come out too.
Yeah.
Well, she only had 3 books with her, and she gave me one of hers. So I thought that was very nice.
Wonderful.
Yes, and she signed it for me, so I now have a book because they don't have it published in Spanish, so I couldn't buy it here. Yeah.
Well, again, thank you everybody, all the knitters who participated. And those of you who are watching, we've recorded this and we're gonna air it. So those of you who couldn't participate today, definitely when you watch this recording, then write in the chat, what you knitted and what you loved about it. And yeah, so thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Everybody,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.